Oh Valheim, where have you been? It looks like the devs are back from their customary holiday that Sweden always pretty much have every summer, and we are going to be in for a treat. They're showing more stuff off to do with the Mistlands, brand new recipes and another look at the black marble. So we're going to cover that as well as some other pictures have shown off recently with weapons and stuff. It's been a while since I covered Valheim, and I am just waiting for the Mistlands update to really hit or we see any big new news. There is a chance we could maybe see something at Gamescom. That's where they revealed obviously the Hearth and Home update last year, so I'm predicting we're going to see something, either an announcement, a trailer or something to do with the Mistlands at this year's Gamescom. The opening night I do believe is going to be on the 24th of August, so I'll be there live streaming all the games news, mostly survival, of that event. Of course, there is a chance they may show it off on the Xbox Expo show, which is like a day later, as obviously Valheim is coming to Xbox next year early as well. And of course, don't forget it's going on the Xbox PC Games Pass for free later on this winter too. So yeah, the devs are back. They had their customary holiday in Sweden. It's like mandatory. You've got to have like 3 or 4 weeks off in the summertime. And so they're all hard at work over the last week or so. Apparently there has been an issue with crashes. They reported this at the start of the month and they did say they're going to have a fix in place very soon, but you should probably make backup copies of your worlds just in case. But here's the exciting bit, they've got their 3D artists working on the brand new foods. This looks pretty cool. Looks like we've got like blueberry pancakes, some sort of green, I don't know, turnip stew? No, we've had turnips already, it can't be that. This looks like maybe eggs and beans? Although it does look like it's also in jelly. So maybe it's to do with that kind of tick that Dev showed off a little while ago. And then if I was really squinting, maybe these are like apples or peaches. Basically, I haven't got a clue. But either way, it's pretty cool that we're getting some more recipes, of course. Mistlands is going to be the biggest update Valheim has had. And it does look like we are going to have to just settle down now and expect these big chunky updates to be like this. And judging by the amount of new build materials with the black marble that you can see underneath here, it's definitely going to be along the right path. But yeah, they're still working on the balancing for the foods. And now they're showing more and more of. I am hoping we'll see some sort of news about release. Now I know I just said I'm not going to predict releases, but I'm going to predict a release. And I think this will probably end up coming out in September or maybe even October. It's absolutely coming out this year. The devs have repeatedly said that. So yeah, this is going to be a massive update. A whole bunch of new enemies, new weapons, new foods, and of course new build stuff. The new black marble looks great. I definitely prefer this just to the regular cut stone. And I'm presuming it's going to need to build out this. Like I hope it's actually a necessity. Maybe we'll get attacked by creatures, and if you're not building out with stone and black marble, then you could face real problems. And again, it looks like you can vertically stand them up, and they've got lots of curved pieces. So we've got almost like triangle rectangles here, if that's even a thing. We've got the stairs, of course. And then the ability to go ahead and place long rectangles as well as upright. Alongside the tar black wood, it's looking pretty cool. And judging by this being shown off, we're going to need this maybe to help craft or process it, alongside obviously the stone cutter. They've also highlighted this guy, the friendly gamer, for winning the build competition of the month, and it does look great. In fact, that is probably one of the best gatehouses I have seen, or river crossing, probably in Valheim. So this was the picture they showed off a few days ago, actually about a week ago now or more, and it's got all 3 weapons highlighted. If we take a little look, I do feel like the bow has had a few changes since it first got revealed. It doesn't look as bright or as big. We've obviously got the big massive broadsword or longsword, and we've got the new crossbow as well. Finally, you'll have something to do with even more of them bone piles that you've probably amassed by now. Still no real word about armors yet though. I guess we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see what kind of new stuff we'll have in terms of wearing. Also, another thing I noticed as well, look at the mist. The mist does look like it's actually spreading across the map. What if that was a thing? What if the Mistlands isn't just a case of running over there and straight away you're going to come into the Mistlands? But what if it is literally surrounding multiple areas? I would love it if it had an effect. Imagine if it made enemies like some of the guys, the goblins from the lands. We do get a little bit of mist in the game. Imagine if it turned some of the enemies more aggressive. I mean, I don't think that's possible. Or maybe made them a little bit more more hard to kill. We don't know what the mist is really there for. Is it just purely cosmetic to make us hard to see things and a bit scary and a bit spooky? Or will it have some extra benefit or negative effect, just like it does when we get wet or it's raining? But yeah, I just like the way that it's flowing across, and I don't think that is directly Mistlands right on it there. So good stuff. Obviously, no, it's been a while for people. Although people do forget, we have had updates like the Frost Caves, like the Black Tar Pits and more. But for sure, the Mistlands is going to be the big one. And no matter what, I always get 1 or 2 comments going, oh, this game is dead. Everyone's forgot about it. Man, you can't forget about a game that 10 million people played. And I really don't think 95% of the user reviews being positive shows a game that is in trouble. Yes, the most recent reviews show a little bit of a decline and drop. But that's, I'm sure, because people love the game so much, they do just want extra content. And that's fair enough, but that will definitely go up a massive amount soon. I think people don't realise when you sit there complaining a game doesn't have content or updates, how hard it is to get this content done and make sure it's in the right state. You compare, and I say it again and I'll keep defending them, every other game out there that puts out content during early access is usually buggy, broken, needing huge amount of hotfixes for weeks, maybe even months. Valheim's not like that. They do really test this stuff a lot more. And they've kept their soul. They're not giving us a bunch of microtransaction bullshit or battle passes like Conan Exiles. They've not tried selling DLC while in early access like Ark. They don't sell a whole bunch of MTX like Rust that people go and sell for hundreds of dollars more on third-party sites. So I'll say it and I'll keep saying it. Put some goddamn respect on Valheim's name if you're one of them 2-3 grumpy people that generally try and comment on a video. Like, we get it. Yes, the game is dead or you feel like everyone's moved on. Then why the fuck are you still watching this video now then? That's because Valheim is a great game and you can come back to it. I'm getting super excited about maybe having another server up and hopefully getting some of my rat bags to come join me and have some fun and visit all the new stuff. And that's what a game can be. It's like TV shows nowadays with some of these updates. You can wait a while for them to actually hit and just enjoy them again. What's interesting is that one of the most highest rated games out there, and if you count it as a survival game, Terraria, has had much of the same sort of impact as Valheim. In fact, not as big an impact when it first launched, but it did go through stages where it was quite a long time in between updates. And at various times, because the devs have said they're not going to update the game anymore, it'd be the last update, or because of changes behind the scenes, they did receive negative feedback quite a bit sometimes. But over the last 3 or 4 years, every single one of their big updates they've done, which is usually once a year, has brought overwhelming praise and a huge amount of people back to the game. And I just can't see that being any different for Valheim. I read a recent article last month by Eurogamer reporter Emma Kent, someone that absolutely loves Valheim, spent an amount of time with the body crew that helped you go and get your stuff back whenever you died, and pretty much gave Valheim a huge praising review when it first launched. She's kept up with mods and done all sorts, and she's got a pretty fair article here. It does list the fact that some people do feel like the game has been in a bit of a limbo. People really enjoy playing this with their friends, and maybe since the updates haven't been as quick or as fast, then friendships have kind of devolved a little bit, or you've moved on to other games. But that is still the kind of same thing with every game out there. You will end up having different interests. Also think people don't underestimate or they overestimate the impact of COVID. Like, we were stuck at home, you did make more relationships, and probably the games you played, they were meaningful more to you. And so Valheim came out just the right time, a fantastic game when everyone was at home, cheap as chips, and that's why 10 million people have bought it. But if you take a look at the best games out there, like Minecraft, like Terraria and stuff, they do just get these updates hit like once a year nowadays. Minecraft has made billions, but it's still only about 40 people deep. I sometimes think maybe Valheim should have just launched as a 1.0 game, and these expansions should have just been marked down as just extra content. That maybe would have stopped the assumption that we're going to be receiving updates every couple months. Yes, there are games that do it that way, and I'm not saying either way is bad or good. I think maybe if you'd asked me a couple years ago, I would have said, yeah, it's been a bit too long in between updates. But the more I've got to know how smaller crews work, the fact that these aren't a big amount of developers, and despite everyone saying we'll just spend loads of money on them, it doesn't work that way. There's pipelines, there's ways to synergize your office, your group, and if you have way too many people joining, then that can really upset the flow of the game. Too many ideas can also take away the core concept of the game. Valheim was pretty much constructed by one person. They got help and backing and got extra developers on board, and I know for a fact they all contribute with ideas for the game. But if you have too many people contributing, then you end up not with that core idea and that winning formula. But I do believe, just like Terraria and other games, but I do still believe, just like Terraria, that Valheim, if it carries on getting support, I'm sure we'll still be talking about it in 2 or 3 years' time as still one of the best survival games you can play. In fact, not even survival, but just best games going. Anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox. Agree, disagree, I don't care. I'll be looking forward to new content, of course I will. And yes, any brand new news about Gamescom, anything else happening, I will be the first to let you guys know. So until next time, ratbags, big fat dose of opinion. I'll see you later.